From the beginning of January 2024, we saw a trending video, a trending post of a young man whose goat farm was on the verge of collapse. A lot of us were worried. A lot of us were asking so many questions. Today, I am going to engage him on this channel to understand what led to that problem and his vision for the livestock industry in Ghana. Is he giving up at all after all this brouhaha and all that? So welcome to Society 360. I am going to engage Fred B. Frimpong, right? Yes, on this channel to understand his vision for the livestock industry after suffering that unfortunate incident. So Fred, welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you too?
I'm good. You're still smiling.
I'm always smiling.
Really, you are an amazing person. Truly, because watching your videos, I was always on the lookout for an update.
Yeah.
That, okay, let me hear something that, well, yes, we understand your situation.
Yeah.
You have a great vision for the industry in Ghana.
Yeah.
So we can just let this slide whilst we look at other ways.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I saw the last video where the animals are no more.
Yeah.
Is that the end?
No, that's not the end. That's just the beginning.
That's just the beginning. Oh, wow.
That's just the beginning.
Great. I'm happy. Okay, so take me through the beginning.
Okay. I think to most people, Seia farm is of so many things to them. To some people, I'm a YouTuber, a content creator, an influencer, others a mentor, others a farmer. But what we are, which is the mother company Farming in Africa, our goal is basically to revolutionize the livestock industry, starting with goat farming. And goat farming because it's the most easiest. And we want to really bring the mass with us. We want to bring the youth with us. We want to bring people with smaller land or limited access to land with us. And that is the basics. Even if you have one plot of land, we can start with a goat farm. It's not possible with cattle. It's not possible with a lot of the other livestock. And therefore, we targeted goat. So we started from Senasi Brekum, which is where I'm from.
Yeah.
And that was basically out of convenience, a starting point. And that's why we began from there. But even though we began from there, we were never supposed to be ending from there. Okay. The goal was to build these model farms across all the regions of Ghana.
Wow.
Where whether you're in the Ashanti region, in the northern region, in the Volta region, you will have a Seia L&D farm very closer to you, so that as you decide to make the decision to go into whether goats, pigs, sheep, cattle, you can go there, get all the knowledge you need, get all the practical training you need, get all the vision and understanding of how to even build your pen, and then take it and go and do it. So we started from my hometown, but it wasn't supposed to end in my hometown.
Okay.
So over the years, we've actually acquired lands like in so many regions, and the goal was just to build over there. So what happened to us recently has really pushed us to take that step. Okay. And now what we've been asking ourselves is, which of the regions should we go next? And it's not because we are collapsing this farm and moving there, but it's just the continuation. Okay. Sometimes you're at the edge, you want to jump, but you're scared. And so to me, we see this as God just kicking us in the butt to say, go do the next place.
But this form of kicking is very difficult, very painful, of course. And I wouldn't be happy to go through that personally. And I'm sure a lot of us who are going through the pains with you, I don't know, with the way you are talking, I don't even know whether you felt any pain at all, because it's just the beginning of greater things to come, right?
Yeah, I think I always say, I don't know if there is another reality check that's going to hit me at some point and say,
okay,
oh, you've lost that, because when it happened, I always put my energy where, what can I do now? And what I can do now, let's put it to when I can do something about it. So I knew this wasn't a battle I was going to fight.
Okay.
So the moment we were officially told to take our goats from the land, I said, okay, let's go and plead for more time. I never intended, no, let's go and fight them and tell them, no, this cannot happen,
Yes, I
blah,
think
blah,
you
blah.
repeated those things in your video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's go ask for more time, and that more time to read. I didn't even think about, oh, how much have I actually spent here, or what am I going to lose?
Really?
I didn't. I actually
Wow.
came by the number when I think a journalist came to the farm and asked me, so how much investment have you put in here? And I was like, oh, I'm not sure. So I just called my accountant and say, hey, can you put together numbers from, since we started this farm? What I understood was last year we actually was building the biggest goat pen, and I know there we spend over 450,000 in just 1 month. So that number I know, but I didn't know how much we've invested over the years. So I think a few hours, my accountant came back to me and said we spent, I think it was about 5.5 million or something since 2018. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's huge, right?
Yeah,
Very huge.
And I was like, okay. So then right there, I gave it to the journalist, and of course that's what went out. But personally, I wasn't really thinking about even that. I was thinking about my next move. I'm thinking about what is out there for me, and that's how I've always lived my life. So
okay,
yeah.
So the next move, you said you have facilities, I mean pieces of land across the region, but you do not know where exactly you are starting your next project.
I know what the next project is, but I don't know where exactly that I'm going to start.
Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yes. So I think I have gone through a series of phases. Just like most of you watching me, if you're a farmer, when you want to go into farming, the first thing is like, okay, I want to start, with my small scale, grow it to commercial and sell whatever my produce is. And to me, that's how I started. But I was fortunate enough and knew that I wanted to run experiment to understand the business aspects, the viability of it before I actually go big.
Okay.
So I started from cattle, went to chicken, then started pigs, then came into goats, and then finally decided on goat. And then when I decided on goat, now the goal for me was experiment and scale.
Okay.
Once you get it right, then go big. And so those are the phases. So we were testing a lot of breeds, a lot of crossbreeding, a lot of medications, feeding, and so on and so forth. So we decided to now go commercial. But right before that, then there was another phase of like, what is the purpose of going commercial? It's basically to contribute to feed security in the country, to help, reduce the price of meat, to improve the quality of feed. But I'm like, how big can I have a farm to be able to be significant in the impact that we want to make? So I can have 1,000 goats, 2,000 goats, but it still wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
So instead of that, we've already created a buzz in the agric industry where I think we're actually the first, agric dedicated YouTube channel in Ghana, starting to promote agriculture and livestock in Ghana. So I was like, we've started something here. Why don't we take a step back and rather focus on taking a lot of farmers with us instead of we just going big ourselves? So then that phase came in where we decided, okay, let's not go commercial. Let's create and perfect the model that is replicable by other farmers. And the way we do that is by perfecting our experiments, our practices, and educating. So I think that's the phase that we are in now, and it's very clear for people to understand that, and that's where we want to take into the other regions. So wherever our next step is going to be, whether Ashanti region, Eastern region, or Northern region, wherever it is going to be more focused on education. We're going to start with still goats, and the goal for us with goats is how do we increase the weight of our goats? So you see our local goats very tiny, right? But then you see the South African goats huge. Even in East Africa, their goats, the Mubendes are even way bigger than ours. Okay. So through crossbreeding and a lot of innovations, we'll be able to add more value to our goat. So I think that's the goal. So every goat that I see in Ghana, I'm like, in the next 10 years, that goat needs to be bigger.
So, I like that. Right. Okay, so viewers, if you're enjoying this conversation, kindly subscribe to this channel. And it is breathtaking to know that Fred is not giving up. He's actually planning to make it big. So the Excellency story, it's over. we are moving to the next step, bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So we are going to move on to the conversation. You are talking about the learning aspects.
Yeah.
So when you move to your next stage where you are going to go bigger, if somebody is interested in becoming a goat rearer like you, starting small, but wants to learn from you, how can that person, benefit from that?
Yeah, so I think our model farm is gonna be able to facilitate that. Where, you know, are you even the farmer yourself? Are you gonna be the one rearing the goat and the day-to-day activities, or are you gonna be a producer where you have money but you're actually giving it to somebody who is gonna be the farmer on the ground? So whatever the case may be, whether you the farmer or your caretaker can come to our experimental farm and be able to go through what are the best practices. So we look at, the breed that you want to start with based on what you want to achieve. Do you want to achieve meat production or milk production? That will inform the kind of breed that you even start with.
Oh, okay. Then, so the milk aspect is also
exactly
not only the meat.
No, not just the meat. So we have goats that just produce milk. And they will produce throughout for you, right? And then we have goats that you rear them basically for their meat quality. So based on that, you will learn the genetics and breeds that we have, that you as a farmer to decide what to do with it. Second, you want to learn about the health, right? What kind of issues or diseases are available in our community for your goats? How do you prevent them? How do you even see them, right? And then the third thing is your nutrition. What do goats actually eat to be able to make sure that they grow well and healthy, right? Then the last thing, which is the fifth thing, is your management. What are the day-to-day activities at your farm as a farmer? What do you look out for? How do you take care of the goats, and so on and so forth? And these are things that people take for granted, or the knowledge doesn't even exist, right? And we want to make sure that people have access to that information, and not just by listening to us online, by coming there, practicing, seeing it, believing it, feeling it, smelling it, all that, and so that they can go equipped. Because a lot of people are losing money in farming. And not just because farming is not recreative, but because
you don't have the knowledge.
If you do something that is insanity, you repeatedly do something over and over and expecting different results without the innovation and so on. So that is the opportunity that's going to exist.
Yes. So my last question, in all of this, somebody will say, okay, all the things you are talking about, to me, I need the money. It's the money. If I go into this, after going through the learning process, learning everything from the rearing to the management, and finally seeing results, how long would it take me? And if I want to go into it, what would be, you can give an average, what would be the minimum I can invest in that field? The goats farming.
So is there money? I think money comes from demand. Whenever there is demand, you create a supply, and the medium of exchange is money, unless you decide to take thank you as a medium of exchange, but mostly money. And then if you do that, then there is money. So you weigh your demand, in wherever you are. But from my experience, and as a little, even in the midst of all this in Brekum, where my farm is, I had an encounter with a butcher man. And I asked him, currently that they are killing goats around Brekum, how many goats are you guys killing in a day? And he says about 20 goats in a day.
Wow.
And that's just in Brekum. You can imagine in the restaurants we have in Accra, how many goats they kill in a month.
A day,
So which farmer in Ghana can say every day I can even give you one goat?
No, not possible.
Exactly. Your farm will be collapsed, right? So where are these guys getting it? They have to go to the north. The north people are bringing it from Burkina. They are bringing it from Mali. And then you... Yes.
Really?
Yes. All
we import goats?
All our goats are coming from Mali, Burkina. God. Yes. As you answered, no farmer can give you that consistency. So if you're a restaurant owner or a hotel, whatever you do, you want to create consistency. You can every day go to a different person. So you have to have people at the north who go to Burkina and bring it for you. You use car, you bring it in, and you slaughter it and keep it in your fridge. Right. So there is a huge demand for that. And we just need to commercialize it. we haven't commercialized it. So everybody has 3, 4, right? So how do we move to that state? In terms of profitability, if you want to start a goat, it's always hard to give a budget because obviously it depends on the number of goats you're starting with, the size. But let's take a basic math of if you have 2 goats, right? So goats go have a 24, they come on heat, I think 48 hours, and then it's gone. And then once they are pregnant, their gestation period is about 154 days. So looking at that means that you can actually breed your goat twice in a year, right? But if you want that goat to be very healthy, then you probably want to do maybe 3 times in 2 years. But if you do even twice in a year, goats on an average will give birth to 2 kids every time, right? So if you start with 1 goat and you do 2 times in a year, at the end of the year, the female goat, male goat, plus 4 kids, you have 6 goats. So that's the math that I start with, right? So you've already, 6x your investment. All things being equal, if everything goes well and they don't die and you're able to do all the right practices, then you have 6 instead of starting with 2, right? So that's how I get profit. So where does the profit, which is the 4, where do you spread it? That's 1 goes into your management and operational costs, right? That's then the other 1 goes into your capital because you invested, and then that's the 2 goes as your profit.
Wow, I'm in a classroom actually. Okay, I earlier said that was my last question, but the final one is,
tell me,
what would happen to that huge goat pen that was supposed to host about 10,000 goats? What happens? Yes, I know you were calling for maybe government's collaboration to use the facility for something useful. But I want to know from the horse's own mouth.
I think I'm not gonna do goats in Brigham. So that's a done deal. As you rightly said, we are still in touch with the ministry, and I have offered that if the government wants to use the facility to still achieve the goal and vision that we have, which is training for agri students, for graduates and so on, it's still available. But at the moment, personally, I don't have any plans. To me, it's gone. So I don't lend money, because once money leave my pocket, it's gone. I'm looking for the next one that I can make. So it's gone for me.
I like the spirit. Let me pray so that God will transfer that spirit to me. Because this next one here is too huge to let go like that. Anyway, Maya, it has already happened. And I'm very grateful that the vision is not gone. It's rather going to expand to bigger places across Ghana. So thank you for talking to us. And we hope that from time to time, as you are trying to expand, we will follow you along the line, visit some of the places you are going to expand to, so that we tell the good story in Africa. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for accepting me in this beautiful studio. My name is Safako.